Hey, what's up, guys? rayBar checking in with another market update. If you haven't already, go and smash that like button because I think today is going to be a pretty good video. Obviously, as you see, the market is up. The account is up. Job numbers came in yesterday, higher than expected. So, kind of stokes more fears of continued rate hikes, which I think we already knew, right? The Fed said they were going 50 basis points before the end of the year, and I think it's happening, right? We'll see 25 July 26th. And we'll see another 25 in September. That's what I personally believe. Then we will end up holding rates, I would likely say, through next year. I think they had a rate cut priced in for September of next year, but I think that has moved based off the better than expected job numbers and slight increase in month over month wages, right? If you've been kind of paying attention to the markets, again, I've been reiterating it in almost every single video. Inflation has been sticky. And, honestly, the Fed is doing what they set out to do, right? They are going to quill inflation and they are going to slowly deteriorate the job market. We haven't seen that quite yet. But again, these things take time. We have lagging indicators. And we've had, almost 20 years of cheap money and, people taking outsized risks, right? Another thing, that is kind of popping up right now is, mortgage rates today, I think, hit an all-time high, around 7.25%, give or take a couple basis points. I think that's a pretty big impact to housing, right? We're seeing a overall reduction in housing from the perspective of inventory. And I think that's a effect of a lot of people locking in mortgages at, 2.7 to 3% back in kind of the height of the pandemic and shortly thereafter. I think housing, again, is also the biggest factor in inflation. And I don't know about you guys, but my rent is continuously increasing. I did get my rent renewal notice recently, and it was less than I expected, but it was still higher than I am typically used to seeing, right? If you'll see here in the portfolio, I'm taking advantage of a lot of that outsized volatility where the ups and downs, yesterday was down wildly, today is up wildly. And I think it's just a digestion of a lot of that data that we just kind of went over. You're seeing here, I have a lot of options plays open. I'm doing a lot of credit spreads, put credit spreads and call credit spreads, on Airbnb, Tesla. Whenever you have a lot of volatility, typically, you'll see premiums for these options plays go up pretty good. I've closed and opened a bunch this week. This one I made a $12 credit. I'm down $2, but, Airbnb, if you look at the Bollinger Band, it shouldn't go past my 137 initial strike price here on the initial call. Same thing with Tesla. Tesla's on a run. You not only has it been kind of what I talked about in my last video, but we're hearing more and more about their AI technology, and AI is kind of the buzzword, right? Artificial intelligence is going to take all of our jobs. It's going to revolutionize the future, what have you, right? So I think that's what we're seeing here. I'm going to go down here all the way to the bottom about some stocks I've been watching. One of the stocks that's kind of been, cursing me my entire investing career is Meta, formerly known as Facebook. They had just released their Twitter, I guess copycat known as Threads. It's kind of integrated in with Instagram and some of their other already popular social media platforms. So I think Meta is going to be, a winner into the future. Backstory I have with Meta. Back in like the, early 2011, 2012 time period when they were IPOing, my financial advisor had actually recommended that I buy into the IPO at around, I think it was like $20 a share. I passed on it. Obviously, it was a mistake. And then here recently, less than 3 months ago, or actually, I guess 5-6 months ago, they were down in the 80s, and I didn't take the opportunity there. And here we are, almost, 200. Actually, we are 230% up. Meta is a advertising machine. They have billions and billions of daily users on all their platforms: Facebook, Instagram, now Threads, which I think has gained like 50 million. 50 million signups in a couple of days. They have WhatsApp, they got the metaverse, they got so many things. This one might be a stock to watch. I think, with all the volatility and the craziness in the numbers, we're likely going to see, I think we're set up for a disappointing earnings season. So there might be some opportunities to get in some of these stocks that have run up. The big tech, especially Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Tesla. There might be some opportunities. So I would say build up that dry powder and kind of get ready to deploy it into the markets, because, I don't think that earnings is going to boost the market. I think, again, we've seen this crazy run up. Earnings will be released, shortly, and the market will kind of revert back. As again, I discussed in my last video how we're kind of outside the technicals, right? We're past the 200-day moving average on a lot of these stocks, and again, that's probability, so it doesn't mean that it will always repeat itself. But I think we're going to go back. One of the changes you might see right here in this section of the portfolio, I ended up selling out of AUR, Aurora Innovation Inc., and I doubled down on Origin Materials, as I mentioned in my penny stock video. I want to get to 100 shares in this one. I ended up profiting about 10-15% in Aurora, and I rolled most of that money into this one, which is, again, the kind of sustainability materials company. They had just opened up one of their mainstay factories, Origin 1, I think they call it. I think this one's going to be an absolute terror in the future. 83% recommended buy, and here we are here on the earnings, beating it every single time, eking into profitability, if you've noticed, as of Q3 of last year. So I think this stock will be amazing. The stock I just mentioned, again, Aurora Innovation, I still own a decent position in my mainstay portfolio, but I want to go ahead and capture some profits. I have a bunch of calls out on this one that I ended up closing, but I think before the July 21st expiration, I think this will revert back to around the 250. And if it does go 250 or lower, I'm definitely going to get back in this portfolio, because again, I do have a very large position in my mainstay. This is an autonomous car play. I think that it's going to be great into the future. They have a huge facility, I think, in El Paso, Texas, and they are building one in Houston, Texas at the moment. So I think that this will ultimately be a pretty good play. Let me know what stocks you guys are looking at and what you guys are buying. I need to make a video going over spreads. If you want me to go over a video talking about the options strategy known as spreads, specifically the call credit spread or the put credit spread, type the word spread in the comment section. Go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. The channel is growing way past my expectation. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you back on Monday.